The internet, a vast, sprawling digital landscape. It connects us, entertains us, informs us. But beneath the surface lurks a darker side, a place where anonymity reigns and chaos thrives. This is the world of 4chan. Imagine a digital back alley, shrouded in shadow. Graffiti covers every surface, each mark a testament to the chaos within. This is 4chan, a place where the rules of society are cast aside, and the darkest impulses of humanity are given free rein. This is not a place for the faint of heart. Here, trolls lurk in every corner, eager to pounce on the unsuspecting. They spread misinformation, incite hatred, and revel in the chaos they create. But 4chan is more than just a breeding ground for trolls. It is a breeding ground for something far more sinister. 4chan was born in 2003, the brainchild of a teenager named Christopher Poole. Inspired by a Japanese image board called Futaba Channel, Poole sought to create a space for English-speaking users to share their love of anime and manga. But the site quickly morphed into something far more sinister. Fueled by anonymity and a lack of moderation, 4chan became a haven for the internet's most extreme elements. White supremacists, misogynists, and conspiracy theorists flocked to the site, drawn to its promise of free speech absolutism. The site's culture, steeped in irony and nihilism, proved fertile ground for the seeds of hatred to take root. It wasn't long before 4chan's influence began to seep out from the darkest corners of the internet and into the real world. Andrew Auernheimer, known online as Weave, was one of 4chan's early stars. A notorious internet troll, Auernheimer reveled in chaos and disruption. He saw himself as a digital prankster, pushing the boundaries of acceptable behavior online. But his actions had real-world consequences. In 2010, Auernheimer and a group of fellow 4chan users launched an attack on AT&T, exploiting a security flaw to steal the email addresses of over 100,000 iPad users. The breach, which included the email addresses of several high-profile individuals, made headlines around the world. Auernheimer was eventually arrested and convicted of computer crimes, spending over a year in prison. The AT&T hack was a watershed moment, demonstrating the real-world impact of 4chan's brand of digital anarchy. The year is 2014. A hashtag explodes across social media, #GamerGate. It begins with accusations of corruption in video game journalism, but quickly spirals into a toxic campaign of harassment and intimidation against women in the gaming industry. At the heart of this storm was 4chan. The site became a staging ground for GamerGate supporters, who used it to coordinate attacks, spread misinformation, and dox their perceived enemies. Death threats, rape threats, and other forms of online abuse became commonplace. The GamerGate Incident exposed the dark underbelly of online gaming culture and the role of 4chan in amplifying and weaponizing online hate. Section 5. The Dark Knight Rises, a shooting in Seattle. In 2014, a young man named Aaron Ibarra walked into a Seattle University cafeteria and opened fire, killing one person and injuring 3 others. Ibarra, who had a history of mental illness, had become obsessed with the 2012 Aurora, Colorado movie theater shooting. In the days leading up to the shooting, Ibarra had frequented 4chan's /R9K/board, a forum notorious for its nihilistic and often disturbing content. It was here that Ibarra found a community that encouraged and glorified his darkest fantasies. The Seattle University shooting highlighted the dangers of online echo chambers and the role of platforms like 4chan in providing a space for potentially dangerous individuals to connect and radicalize. Section 6. The Anonymous Legion and Operation Payback. Out of the shadows of 4chan emerged a decentralized collective known as Anonymous. A loose-knit group of hacktivists united by their shared anti-establishment sentiments, Anonymous became known for their online protests and cyber attacks. In 2010, Anonymous launched Operation Payback, a series of distributed denial-of-service attacks targeting organizations that had taken action against WikiLeaks, the whistleblowing website. These attacks, coordinated on 4chan and other online forums, crippled the websites of major corporations and government agencies around the world. While Anonymous's actions were often framed as acts of digital civil disobedience, their tactics and motivations remained a subject of debate. Section 7. Where Trolling Turns Tragic, the Case of Miranda Barbour. In 2014, the world was shocked by the case of Miranda Barbour, a young woman who confessed to killing over 22 people. Barbour, who claimed to be a Satanist, met her victims through Craigslist, luring them to their deaths with promises of sex. As investigators delved into Barbour's online activity, they uncovered a disturbing connection to 4chan. Barbour was an active user of the site's /b/random board, a notorious breeding ground for shock content and depraved humor. While the extent to which 4chan influenced Barbour's crimes remains unclear, the case served as a chilling reminder of the potential for online communities to desensitize individuals to violence and normalize extreme behavior. Section 8. The Downfall of Swatting. The act of swatting involves making a false report of a serious crime to emergency services, often with the goal of provoking a heavily armed police response at a specific address. This dangerous prank, which originated on 4chan, has resulted in numerous injuries and even deaths. In 2017, a Kansas man was shot and killed by police after being swatted by a 4chan user. The perpetrator, who had a history of online harassment, targeted the victim as part of a dispute over a video game. The tragic consequences of swatting led to increased scrutiny of 4chan and other online platforms that facilitated this dangerous practice. Section 9. From Memes to Mayhem, the Christchurch Massacre. The year is 2019. A gunman opens fire at 2 mosques in Christchurch, New Zealand, killing 51 people and injuring dozens more. The attack, live-streamed on Facebook, sent shockwaves around the world. The gunman, a self-proclaimed white supremacist, had spent years immersed in the dark corners of the internet, including 4chan. He had been radicalized online, exposed to a steady diet of hate speech, conspiracy theories, and violent imagery. The Christchurch Massacre marked a turning point in the fight against online extremism, prompting calls for greater regulation of social media platforms and a crackdown on online hate speech. Section 10. The Unmasking of a Movement. In the wake of the Christchurch Massacre, law enforcement agencies around the world began to take a closer look at the role of 4chan and other online platforms in fueling real-world violence. The site's anonymity, once a shield for its users, became a liability. As investigations intensified, 4chan's veil of anonymity began to unravel. Users were identified, arrested, and charged with a range of crimes, from hate speech and harassment to terrorism and murder. The site's reputation as a lawless frontier was shattered. The unmasking of 4chan's users sent a clear message: anonymity is not absolute and actions have consequences. Section 11. Navigating the Labyrinth. The internet is a double-edged sword. It has the power to connect us, inform us, and empower us, but it also has the power to divide us, mislead us, and radicalize us. 4chan, with its dark corners and shadowy figures, serves as a stark reminder of the dangers that lurk beneath the surface of the digital world. It is a place where the lines between fantasy and reality blur, where hate speech thrives, and where the consequences of online actions can be devastating. As we navigate the digital labyrinth, we must be vigilant, discerning, and critical. We must be aware of the dangers that lurk online and take steps to protect ourselves and others. We must remember that behind every screen name there is a real person, and our words and actions have the power to hurt or to heal.